We have learned several normative ethics frameworks and systems. I have a question for you now. Being able to make the perfect moral reasoning and being really mature in the moral development stage, does it transfer to ethical behavior at the workplace? Today, we will share a classic interactionist model of ethical decision-making in work settings, including both individual and situational factors. The interactionist model of ethical decision-making in organizations was proposed by Dr. Linda Trevino in 1986 and published in the Academy of Management Review. This is an interactive model based on Kohlberg's cognitive moral development stages and attempts to address the influences from both individual perspectives and situational perspectives on the moral judgment to moral action link. So first, the cognitive moral development maturity is the foundation of the model. For details of Kohlberg's developmental stages model, check out this video. There are a few things I'd like to point out, include first, normative ethical theory was found not to be very helpful in explaining or predicting ethical decision-making. Even researchers found a general trend that managers tend to follow a utilitarian orientation to evaluate behaviors based on the social consequences. One potential cause could be that normative ethical theory is not designed to explain or predict behaviors, but cognition is. And Kohlberg's moral development stages are related to cognition. Also, the research found that adults can still continue their moral development through education experience, on top of IQ and socioeconomic status. The majority of managers recruited in the research appeared to be in stage 3 and stage 4 of Kohlberg's model. And training can advance the stage of the manager sample, medical ethics student sample, and MBA business ethics student sample. In addition, managers' moral judgment in actual work-related situations will show a lower stage than the response to hypothetical dilemmas. So the moral development stage is a great foundation, but still, moral judgment doesn't lead to moral actions. There are many other factors impacting the judgment to action link. Next, we will discuss several individual factors including ego strength, field dependence, and locus of control, as well as situational factors including immediate job context, broader organizational culture, and characteristics of the job. Ego strength refers to self-regulating skills to resist impulses and follow convictions. People with higher ego strength are more likely to do what they think is right. Therefore, managers with higher ego strength are more likely to act based on their moral judgment. In other words, show more consistency between moral judgment and moral actions. Field dependence refers to the extent to which individuals use external reference to their behavior. So people with higher field dependence are more likely to use social reference to guide their behavior and function with less autonomy. Therefore, Trevino proposed the field independent managers will exhibit more consistency between moral judgment and moral actions than field dependent managers. Locus of control refers to the perception of control a person exerts over the events in life. People with a higher internal locus of control believe that outcomes are the results of their own efforts, while people with a higher external locus of control believe that outcomes are the results attributed to fate, luck, or destiny. Managers with a higher internal locus of control should exhibit more consistency between moral judgment and moral action than managers with higher external locus of control. Since moral actions take place in the social context, situational factors also play important roles, especially managers at conventional moral development levels. They will be more susceptible to situational influence on unethical behaviors. Kohlberg's longitudinal research found that some adults continue to advance their moral development beyond years in school and therefore propose that work plays a significant role in continued adult moral development. Job characteristics such as role-taking and responsibility could impact the judgment to action link. Role-taking refers to taking account of the perspective of others. If the work allows or requires people to engage in complex role-taking, then they are probably more likely to continue to advance their moral development. If the position requires resolving ethical dilemmas more often, for instance, balancing the needs of organization with the welfare of workers, then this person is more likely to continue to advance the moral development. Organizational culture also plays an important role since it influences thoughts and feelings and guide behavior. It manifests itself in norms, rituals, ceremonies, legends, and the organization's choice of heroes. Research results demonstrated that many managers feel the pressure to compromise their personal values in order to achieve organizational goals. Therefore, whether the organization has an open communication channel, a strong normative structure, or a benevolent and virtuous authority figure will all impact the transfer from moral judgment to moral actions. Job context variables may also impact the relationship between cognitive judgment and action. For instance, certain reward or punishment system as reinforcement contingencies will influence the transformation of moral behaviors. Overall, to provide comprehensive support for organizational ethics, we need to first understand these fundamental factors that influence the transfer to ethical actions, then provide interventions including cognitive and behavior approaches. Sometimes it's even necessary to adjust the whole organizational culture. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.